Welcome back to the Cabin Podcast. This is a bonus podcast. I'm Andrea Belke.
And I'm Megan Christian.
And today we are diving into Ho-Chunk Nation. We're really excited to talk about this topic. We are going to dive into some of the history of the Ho-Chunk people, talk about some really significant traditions, and also talk about the casinos and a new one coming out as well. And we have no better person for the job. We have Robert Reider, Chief Operations Officer for the Ho-Chunk Nation's Department of Business. Robert, how are you doing?
I'm doing great on this wonderful Monday morning.
Yeah. Well, we're so excited to have you here. You've done the cabin before, right?
I have done the cabin before, yeah, and it's a wonderful place to come.
Yeah, what do you think of the new studio?
The new studio is pretty cool. A lot of bright,
yeah, it is pretty
light.
bright in here. Awesome.
The couch is a little bit more comfortable than I remember the chairs being.
Yeah, well, this is great to have you. We've been wanting to kind of dive into the Ho-Chunk Nation. We just had an episode on Discover Wisconsin that dived into some of the traditions. Can you tell us a little bit about your upbringing and when you started really taking an interest in learning about your own history?
I think the interest was always there. When I was a young child, my grandparents would take me to powwows, whether it was in Black River Falls, St. Paul, over in Minnesota, different places in Wisconsin. Linden Station had some smaller ones. They also took me up to Canada a couple of times for some bigger powwows, and then over to the South Dakota area as well. So it was, a lot of traveling, but also traveling with family. So it was a good time. It was a fun time.
Yeah. Can you tell us what a bear powwow is like?
So powwows, gathering, singing and dancing. There's traditional powwows, and then there's the contest powwows as well. The contest powwows, within the name, is a contest both with the dancers and with the drum groups that are there. And actually just recently, this past weekend, the Black Hills gathering, one of the largest events in the U.S., the Ho-Chunk Station singers won that contest powwow. So it's pretty cool to see that on the social media. So.
Yeah. You grew up being super involved. Was there a moment that kind of clicked for you where you were kind of just like, I really want to do this for a living and help educate people, be a part of it?
I think education has always been there for me. It's an important part. It's something, growing up, born in the 70s, elementary school in the 80s, high school a little bit thereafter, dating myself, but
I mean, it was the golden age to be in,
right.
Before social media, before cell phones.
Right. Yeah, and it was, and back then it was, there was perfect example. Everything was word of mouth, and that was hard. I grew up outside the traditional areas of the Ho-Chunk Nation, even though Minnesota is part of it. But it wasn't Black River Falls, it wasn't Wisconsin Dells, it wasn't Tomah, it wasn't Wittenberg, Wisconsin, nor was it Nakusa, excuse me. But a lot of verbal history. Now, fast forward to where we're at today, it's great. Through social media, I was able to find out that, and only because of today being Indigenous Peoples Day, there's a event happening up in Reedsburg, Wisconsin, for a Huchuga, which was a tribal chief, and they're honoring him there today. But probably wouldn't have heard that through word of mouth. It was social media. Through the internet, a lot of things are now on the internet. Because of social media, I found out that my grandfather had a record back in, I think 74 is when it was released, but it was him and another gentleman singing traditional tribal songs, and I found that on the internet and was actually listening to it on the way down this morning. So it's just that piece, right? Let's educate people, let's get people to know, and thinking about it, let's Google something and it'll be out there. Well, it is out there, so that's now the easy part, but the hard part is now getting it to the masses,
right?
To make sure that people are aware of it. So we've done great work with the team here.
Yeah. Besides seeing things change through social media, how have you kind of seen culture change throughout your time in Wisconsin?
So throughout culture throughout my time and even my lifetime. So when I was born, it was illegal to dance, tribal dances. It was illegal to practice religion. That went away in the late 70s, early 80s. Has slowly come back, and now it is now being talked about that, in one of in a speech that I gave, I said that yes, we are still here, and we are. We just don't have the Hollywoodized version of the American Indian. We all dress differently, we talk differently, we speak differently. There's no how type thing. So yeah, it's getting it to that point, and some of the traditions that are coming back. We just wrapped one up. I was out of town for it, but last week was the green corn dance, kind of a harvest celebration, and that happened up in Black River Falls, up by our tribal office building.
What is that?
It was just a gathering to celebrate the harvest. So those things that kind of went away, but people again talked about, and then it's coming back, and it's taking a large group of people to say, let's do this. So.
Yeah. Well, for you the history of the Ho-Chunk people in Wisconsin, but I think sometimes, people aren't aware of kind of where they came from, especially in Wisconsin, people made home. Can you kind of give us just a general overview of the Ho-Chunk in Wisconsin?
Yeah, so traditionally, creation story puts us in the Green Bay area. From there, we go over to St. Paul, down to St. Louis, up to Chicago, and then up the lake. Sounds kind of easy, but it is a massive area, an expansive area. So that's why we are spread out the way that we are, and we don't have that contiguous reservation that some of the other tribes, both in the state and across the U.S. have. So we've been here for a long time. Dated historically at least 3,500 years with the finding of the canoe in Lake Monona about a year and a half ago. So that's it's pretty cool. We've been here for a long time.
Can you talk about that? The canoe you said yeah, tell me about that.
So that I believe, was it about 4 years ago now? A canoe was found. Traditionally, what would happen is the canoes would be sunk, so no one would find them because of, say, the nomadic, but how the people back then would travel in the areas to find different places to live, but would always come back. And the canoes were then sunk, and for whatever reason they didn't make it back, and these are the ones that are being found in the lake. So the first one was about 1,000 years old, which is, that's cool. That's call it pre-Columbus days, discovery of America.
Yeah, in quotations.
Right,
yeah. For our audio listeners,
and the big quotes. Hard to discover something where there's people already there. But then the next one that they found was 3,000 to 3,500 years old. So.
Wow. And they can, because they're wood.
Yes.
Yeah, and so they're able to date it from the wood. Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah. It's just so cool that they're able to do that, and what a really amazing discovery.
Yeah. And the neat part about it is how they're preserving it. It's not like you pull it out of the water and let it dry. It's right. Still in the process of the preservation a year and a half later. So it's...
Yeah, the people that are finding these canoes, are they like setting out to go find them, or kind of just coming across them?
My understanding is they're just kind of coming across them. It's not a team of professional divers. Like you see those treasure hunters in the Caribbean, right? Looking for pirate treasure. They're just hanging out on the bottom of the lake and doing what they do is just breathing underwater.
Yeah, we recently just did a Discover Wisconsin episode on the Ho-Chunk Nation, and one part of it that I found really interesting was the code talkers. Can you talk about that and just kind of explain to our audience what that means? Yeah,
so code talkers back in World War II helped the U.S. win World War II. It was, and to this day, the Japanese still haven't been able to crack the code, and there was 2 team members speaking the same language, and they were able to talk about, whether it was the tanks or the ships or the airplanes in the area. As we're conversing here is how they talked, but the Japanese and the Nazis, they weren't able to crack that code. So it is predominantly, I believe the stories are in the Pacific part of the war, which is the Nicolas Cage and Adam Beach movie. Is it Wind Talkers? I believe it is the movie. So it's neat. These are great stories to be told, and they have to be told. Just recently, we had the section of I-90 from La Crosse to Toma designated as the Ho-Chunk Code Talkers Memorial Highway. So that's pretty cool. We had the unveiling of the sign this spring. Last fall, we had the governor sign it into law at our House of Wellness in Wisconsin Dells. So it's being of people who have been from this area for so long to finally start getting recognition in 2025. It's a good time to be alive.
I was going to just ask that. I was going to say, for the way that unfortunately Ho-Chunk people and a lot of indigenous tribes have been treated historically, and then getting some of this recognition, like piece by piece, like how does that feel? Like what kind of emotions does that bring up for you?
Number one is pride. Proud. Proud of the people of the past, those who have sacrificed to put us to give us what we have now is amazing. Frustration. It'd be easy to say anger, but for me, it's just more frustration. Because again, growing up and learning what I learned, and in schools was Native Americans did Thanksgiving, and that was about it. And then fast forward a couple hundred years, and they got in the way of westward expansion. Well, argued, right? Didn't necessarily get in the way. We were just there. So, and then we have all the removals, and then, stories of people coming back and getting removed again, getting removed 8 times and coming back the 9th is I think the cry, the mantra of Native Americans, we are survivors. It was estimated there was about 30 million Native Americans pre-colonization, and it got down to 10-20% of that. And so we are survivors and move forward every day to this day.
Yeah. Do you have any favorite traditions that you celebrated growing up? I'm just curious because I feel like a lot of people don't know some of the things that you all celebrate, and it's really interesting to learn.
Well, I enjoyed my birthday. Christmas. No, it's anything family.
Right.
So obviously a couple of big ones there. My birthday, by the way, next week.
Happy
birthday.
Send some presents my way. Go ahead. No, but just being with family, whether it was at the powwows or some of the historical family feasts that we had, gatherings where we name young kids, old kids, adults, just getting together and laughing. And I think that's what I do good and best sometimes. But I know a lot of people that enjoy that. So
what are some of the ways that you really appreciate Ho-Chunk art and storytelling? I know that there's a long history of bead making as well.
Yeah, both bead making and basket making. Those are, growing up, some of the neatest things I remember doing is getting in my regalia and getting the beadwork on that my grandma made, and I'll still throw my moccasins on that she made too as well. And she's been gone for quite some time, so she made them a lot better than the Nikes and the the Doc Martens that I have. So, there's the beadwork, the basketry. Paint Art Center had a wonderful display this last spring that I was able to go and walk around and just look at the baskets and the intricacies of them. My fingers are too big and not real steady to make some of the baskets that I saw up there. Some of the artwork, we've had wonderful artists. We won our first Emmy Award with Discover with the Truman Lowell story. His artwork is now on display at the Native American History Museum in Washington, D.C. for I think like the next 18 months. And to see his work at that level is just, again, proud to be part of that, to be from the same area, from the same DNA as people like that.
I was just going to ask, are you artsy at all?
No.
What about dancing? Are you a dancer?
Yeah, I am. Sometimes things skip generations, and I don't want to say it skipped me. It might have kind of bounced off my head a little bit. So,
I bet you have better dancing skills than the majority of people, though. Because did you grow up with? Because obviously, it's a big part of the tradition and culture. Did
Yes.
you grow up doing those dances?
Yes, I did. I grew up as a. I started out as a grass dancer. I think I was 4 years old. So you see the videos today, the little kids hopping around. That was me. Then I got into fancy dancing as I got older. Turning a little bit older next week. It hurts me to think about trying to do some of the moves and dances that I see the guys doing today. But yeah, it was fun. It's a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think are some of the biggest misconceptions about Ho-Chunk Nation, and what are some of the most important ones for people to know?
Well, I guess the two things that pop in my mind, number one is greed, and number two is alcohol. Both of those weren't taught. They weren't around. 200-300 years ago, those terms were in the alcohol was introduced to us. It is unfortunate, but whenever there's something on a Facebook post or Instagram and it involves the Ho-Chunk Nation or any tribe in general, those are the common things, and it is unfortunate because it's not greed. When we talk about the casinos, it's not greed. What we do with that money helps us provide for our people. We build houses for our communities. We have 2 healthcare clinics with optometry and pharmacies, places for people to go. We have area community buildings where there's exercise facilities and gymnasiums where people can go and hang out. It's just that's just again frustrating, and that is a little bit angering because, like I said, we're a lot more than that. So, and that's why I'm glad to be part of this journey with the team here and with the group here to help spread that awareness that it's not that.
And the comments always in general, it's tough, It's tough too because you want people to like really get to know you and kind of understand, and there are these misconceptions, and hopefully by doing more long form content and doing more episodes and people actually learning about the history and the culture, that stuff will start to go away. But it's
right.
It's always one of those things, especially in 2025.
Yep.
Just kind of ignoring the people that are
the keyboard warriors.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it is interesting what you brought up. So, can you kind of explain what your role is now and kind of the business side of things that you do?
Yeah. So my role as Chief Operations Officer is I get the fun job of overseeing all the enterprises, both current, the 6 casinos, the 5 convenience stores, the campground that we have in Linden Station right along the beautiful Wisconsin River. Those the cinemas, we're reopening our cinema in Toma. Just doing the business side of things, but also the future business. So the Beloit property, if there's anything else coming along the lines, looking into that, how can we grow our businesses, so we're not just gaming, we're not just a casino. Yeah, it's if there's an opportunity to be in gaming, it's a great business to be in because it does make money. And if you tell me that, people don't bet, I'll bet you $5 that they do. So, that's kind of my, in general, overview of my role. We do strategy. We do look to the future and how we can maneuver through, not only the laws that we have to abide by, because we do have to abide by laws. We're not, it's number one, it's not the wild west. It's not even the wild Midwest anymore. So, we have to follow and navigate those waters, but also the social side of it too. Like we've talked about all along, the Native Americans, and I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. Well, if people do want to do some gaming and you want to give your pitch of where people should go, because you have several, right?
Yes. Yep.
So tell us some of the hot spots that people can check out.
So anywhere there's a red sign that says Ho Chunk Gaming is a great place to start. I like to say we control the I-90 corridor. So we're in Black River Falls, we're in Toma, we're in Wisconsin Dells, we're in Madison. So that's 4 of our 6 current properties. Nakusa, kind of right in the heart of the state, and then Wittenberg, Wisconsin, right up between Wausau and Green Bay. So they're easy to get to. It's kind of, they're all located in areas where, if you like the North Woods, Wittenberg's a great area. If you like ATV traffic or UTVs, we have Black River Falls, and actually through the trail system, you could do a day trip from Black River Falls to our Nakusa property.
I saw that, yeah.
Which is kind of cool. And we had a little bit of work to get it to be able to do that.
How long does it take to get from one to the other on UTV, ATV? I don't want to guess, but it's like a day trip kind of situation.
Well, and it's driving on the highway, it's an hour, so figure maybe 4 times that, a few hours probably.
Make some pit stops.
Nakusa has some good golf. You got Sand Valley near there.
Oh yeah, so. Megan knows the golfing areas. I do not.
And I can't get away from that part of my history too, as well as far as the golf goes. So Sand Valley, Lake Arrowhead.
Oh, are you a big golfer?
Yeah. I'm a member of the PGA, current member. Well, since 2005, I've been a member of the PGA. So
nice.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I've been able to play quite a few places in the state of Wisconsin. So Dells has quite a few golf courses.
Yep.
Alongside the water park. There's great courses. Great course in Black River Falls. I was the head pro there for 3 years.
Wow.
So anyway,
I could talk golf all day. Andrea can't.
Different episode.
We've done an episode on golf.
We have.
That's incredible. And then you have the Beloit one that's opening in 2026.
2026. It's just right around the corner. We're about 11 months out from that project. Tentative scheduled open date September 26th will be the casino and our first parking ramp at a facility. Looking at even though I love it, the beautiful Wisconsin winters, some of a lot of the casinos in the area have these huge parking lots, and we're looking at safety moving forward with our customers and our guests and our staff or people that make things run, this is a safe way for them to get inside the building. And I know that's kind of a lot to talk about, a parking lot, but it's, again, being the first one that we have at a facility, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And besides that, the gaming floor is just going to be amazing. Our architects have done a wonderful job. HBG Group, they did our project Forward back in 2017, where we added a couple of hotels and redid the floor on a few of our gaming sites. They just do amazing, beautiful work. So,
Do you have a favorite location for gaming?
If you had to pick.
God, which kid is my favorite? I love them all the same. So
Yeah.
Well, no, in the cabin you must choose. Okay, and so we'll pick one. If, let's say, somebody wants to do a trip and make kind of like a whole day or weekend experience, what's one that kind of rises to the top where maybe there's a couple other things that they can hit in the town?
Well, I mean, if it's a weekend thing, even a week-long thing, right, the Wisconsin Dells has got to be it. There's something there for everyone to do. So, you can bring, we'll say at my age, I can bring my ma and myself and my kids and a couple of their friends, and some of the younger ones can go into town and be at the water park all day, and us older ones can go to the casino and spend some time there. So,
Yeah.
and it's, there's great food that we have. We have a couple of restaurants that we have on site. Not only our own restaurants, but we have a couple of restaurateurs that come in and lease a space from us and put out some amazing food.
That's always important too. You got to make sure you have a good spot to eat.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gonna be there for a while, so you gotta make sure you have all the goods. All right, well, we are kind of like running out of time a little bit, but I just want to know, what does it mean to you personally to just carry on this Ho-Chunk culture and be such a big part of it?
Oh boy.
Loaded question, I know.
No pressure.
No pressure.
Well, I think my grandpa always said, do what you can. And I guess I'm doing what I can. And that's what it means. I just do what I can, and hope it resonates and sticks.
Yeah. That's incredible.
Yeah.
And you said, you have children, right?
Yes. Yep. 3.
Yeah. What are some of the traditions that it must be so, I mean, especially in a culture that has just such rich traditions. I mean, what a amazing thing to be able to pass down these traditions. What are some of the things that you're teaching them at the ages that they are?
It's people skills. They're at the age where I can't teach them much anymore. So
How old are they?
my youngest is a senior in high school.
Oh,
So,
okay. Well, probably when they were growing up, you got to teach them about your culture.
Yeah, the culture and some of the beliefs, the respect, and not to speak when spoken to, but just allow people to give their opinion. Don't speak over them. Be wise. Know what words to use and when. Depending on situations, it's hard to do that. I know at some point in time, but it's, gotta remind them about that. So, and just to not be afraid to go out and speak and talk to people. Those are the biggest things that, some of the biggest things my grandpa taught me was, if you see someone that looks native, go up and say hi, because there's not that many of us around, but it is coming around. Much like the eagle population. So
Yeah. And today's a very special day, right?
Yes, it is. Indigenous Peoples Day. Kind of taking some of those things back. So I kind of thought it'd be cool to come here on this day. So I was thinking maybe in honor of Columbus Day, I'd wander the grocery store and get lost in the spice aisle. But we'll see.
And you have another event you're going to, right?
Yep. Yeah. So that at Sauk County Historical Society, they're recognizing a past tribal member, tribal chief, Ho-Chunk chief, Ahucho Blue Wing, which is actually the name that my grandfather gave me, Ho-Chunk name my grandfather gave me. So gonna head there after I'm done in the cabin, get my gloves and mucklucks and everything on, and head up to Reedsburg area for that event. So
yeah, can you actually kind of touch on the naming and how you go about choosing a name?
It's the name is given to you by family. The family leader gives the names. I was told there's a notebook now that kind of tracks what's available. My two oldest kids have a name, and I'm working on getting my youngest a name. But again, it's working with the family leader. Yeah. So that's,
okay.
Do you like workshop a few, or so how do the names come to you?
They it's kind of what we've had, and so like my daughter's name is Yellow, translates to Yellow Lightning. I'm not sure where that one came from. My oldest boy, his name is He Who Makes It Rain Hard. That name was my uncle's name, but he had passed 20 years ago now. So my son got that name. My mom's is She Who Lands in a Tree, which whenever she's golfing and she hits a tree, she says, "Well, that's my whole chunk name."
Very fitting for her.
So yeah, they're names that have been around for quite a few years. Typically, they have to do with the clan that you belong in. So, Blue Sky, Yellow Lightning, He Who Makes It Rain Hard, She That Lands in the Tree. We're Eagle Clan, so it's a lot of upper elevation, higher elevated type things. So
yeah,
that's really cool. It's pretty fascinating to hear you talk about just the names, because they just seem very special to everybody.
Yeah, will you share your name with us?
Yeah, it's a Hucho, which is Blue Wing. So
okay.
Well, since this is Discover Wisconsin, we do want to know, in terms of Wisconsin and your love of it, where is your favorite place in the state to go kind of take a trip to? Because I know you're a busy dad and family man and a businessman, but if you could go on a little escape, just like a weekend retreat, is there a certain area that's really special to you?
Well, anywhere that's got 9 holes, 18 holes, a 19th hole. No, honestly, being back in the La Crosse area is amazing, especially this time of the year in October when the colors are changing. It's God's country for a reason, I think. So it's a beautiful place to be. And then they also have some decent golf courses over that side of the state too. So
yeah, get the guy some golf and he's happy.
He's good to go.
Well, we want to make sure that we covered everything. I mean, it was honestly just such a privilege to be able to hear you tell your stories. Like it at times even gave me kind of the chills, just like hearing about the history and your love of your people, I think was just really special. So I really appreciate you. Is there anything else that you wanted to bring up, or a parting message? If I don't know, a friend of mine asked me once, where do I go for stories? And I said, well, just ask people. So it goes down to don't assume. People always have stories to share, whether it's Native American, non-Native American. There's stories that people like to tell. And if you have any questions, just ask. We have this day and age websites. There's the Ho-Chunk Nation website. There's some historical knowledge on there. There's also the different departments and contact information. So if you have questions, reach out. There's people that would be glad to talk about the Ho-Chunk Nation now, the Ho-Chunk Nation in the past. We have our own heritage preservation office. They do great work. So
awesome. Well, thanks for being that outlet for us and telling us your stories, sharing your culture with us. It really means a lot to be a part of that.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, Cabin listeners. Well, that is all we have for today. Be sure to stay tuned for our next episode, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Today's episode of The Cabin was hosted by Andrea Belke and Megan Christian and produced by Andrea Belke. Audio engineering and video teasers by Nick Cardarella and Megan Christian, with social media by Megan Christian. Production support by Gavin McLean. The Cabin is a production brought to you by Discover MediaWorks. To learn more, head to discovermediaworks.com and don't forget to leave a review.